Welcome. I'm AnnaJules, and this is Talk from the Heart. Today we are talking all about angels, and this is just a lovely topic to start with. And I invite you to participate by adding your comments, adding your stories. This is a beautiful space for us to share our stories, our experiences, and really connect with each other from the heart. So, to start off, I want to share one of my angel experiences. Um, this takes me back to I was living in Costa Rica and driving home from work. And unfortunately, in Costa Rica this time, there were a lot of potholes. I mean, basically everywhere, and you had to dodge them this way and that. And at one point, I heard after going through one of those potholes that something seemed to be dragging on the bottom of my car. I had just a little two door sedan, and so with this dragging noise, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my car. I'm totally making that dragging noise. So I scooted into a little supermarket there called Mas Menos in the parking lot that was just off the road. And I basically pulled into the parking lot. I looked underneath and noticed that, yeah, it was like the muffler or something was not attached anymore and it was dragging like on an angle. And I just thought to myself, I'm not a mechanic. I don't know what to do. I'm, far from um, anybody that I know, so I'm not sure how to solve this problem. And at that point, someone came up to me and said, do you need some help? And so I looked up and I saw this person, and I'm just going to say, I know lots of Costa Ricans, and this person did not look Costa Rican. They just had a different kind of body frame. They were, taller than usual. And there was something very, just very different about their clothing. I remember thinking, like, are you from around here? Something like that, right? So something very otherworldly. And I looked up and I was like, yes, actually, I do need help. Like, I've just got through a pothole. The muffler's like hanging on by a thread. I'm not sure what to do. And I was literally just like on my knees. I was on my knees and because I was looking underneath the trunk of the car. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, okay, well, let's open up your trunk and see if you have anything that might help us. And I was like, okay, no idea. And this is where the miracles start. So I opened up the trunk, and sure enough, he found something, some kind of wire, and I don't remember that ever being there before, but he found some wire, and then he crawled underneath. He spent some time underneath the car, wiggling with his hands, wiggling the wire and maneuvering something. And then he comes out and he was like, okay, that should do you. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. So I've gone from this, complete distress, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to help myself, not knowing like anything. This person, who I believe is an angel, came along, instantly had a solution for me, and then just said something to the extent of like, I hope you have a great day. And off they walked. I'll note, not into the supermarket. And I remember standing there looking at my car and looking down at the muffler, which is now fine, and thinking, did this just happen? Like, I don't know, like catch my breath, but like also just sort of soak it in, like pinch yourself and be like, this just happened. This just happened. Anyways, I got in the car, I drove home. I've shared this story many times with many people, so some of you may already know this story. But that is an unbelievable very believable story of an interaction I had with an angel who I believe is an angel. And I'm just curious if you also have experiences with angels. If you do, I'd love to hear it. Please share it in in the comments below, and I'd love to hear of other people's um, experiences, stories, interactions, points of view, all taken right from the heart. And one thing I want to ask actually is, do you know someone in your life who you actually think is an earth angel? So, an earth angel, for those of you that don't know, is an angel that has, let's say, come to earth as a human. So, they talk and act and feel and look just like humans, um, but they have a certain, well, there's different kinds of earth angels, and you can feel free to do more research on this if this piques your interest. But there are certain qualities around earth angels, like they feel a very deep call to help others. They are very empathetic. They often are really good listeners. What are some other things about earth angels? They get divine information, divine knowledge, divine wisdom, divine downloads quite frequently throughout their life. They connect with nature, so the land, animals, plants, forces of nature, weather included, other things. And um, they have a sense of wisdom. They have a sense of, I think, like a depth to them that is very sturdy, you might say. As in, they can weather the storms of our human experience and not be baffled by it. I'm curious if you know an earth angel. I believe that I met an earth angel just recently, and I will not say her name, but I want to share a little bit of why I like my instant idea was that she was an earth angel. So, first of all, our meeting was almost like poetic. So we have a wonderful health food store in the neighborhood. I'm so grateful for them. And I like to go by, pretty frequently, but they have a special discount day. So I was going by on the discount day to get I don't know, supplement of some sort. And I was actually feeling very open, very, I don't know, just relaxed. And I had a few interactions with other people in the store when I found myself looking at the chocolate bars. And I had said to myself, you know what, I'm going to treat myself to a little, like dark chocolate, something like that. And of course, they have lots of options. So I was sitting there, well, standing there, taking a look and thinking to myself, yeah, I think I'm going to go with the sea salt option, something like that. And this person was bending down and looking at some of the chocolates. And I said something to her. I'm like, how do you pick your chocolate bar? Like, very basic. And she looked up at me and she was like, oh, it's not for me, it's for my granddaughter. And so I said, oh, will your granddaughter like that picture of the bear on the front? And then she was like, oh, I don't know. And then we started talking, and we ended up talking in the store for, oh, goodness, maybe 45 minutes or something like that, about all of the things, health food related. And then beyond that, we probably talked about angels too. But it was like this beautiful open connection where we just stumbled upon each other, but it felt very serendipitous that we would meet. And I actually said to her, I said, I feel like this is just such a wonderful meeting. Would you like to exchange numbers? Just because I would hate to walk away from this and never see you again and just, not know if there was something else for us. So sure enough, we said, well, let's get coffee. And so the next week we went for a walk, and we have been meeting up almost every week since. Um, and our conversations are about angels. For example, we had a whole day where we talked about angels and their influence in our lives. We talk about everything from dragons and fairies and Sasquatch, and we talk to the trees and we open portals, and we are just living our best life on those walks. I gotta be honest with you, I absolutely love them. And what an amazing way to connect. And both of us felt basically like we were friends, like instant friends, an instant connection, and we're really there to support each other and to teach each other. Actually, we both help to open doors for each other with our shared knowledge. So I'm curious if you know an earth angel. How you might spot them is like for me, how you met them, where it just felt, um, yeah, like a synchronicity or I don't know, just very some kind of feeling like you're in flow and these things just flowed right to you. This relationship, opened up right to you, right for you. And um, you could know that they're an earth angel. Maybe you know them really well and you know they're calling to be a helper, to be a listener. Maybe you've experienced their presence and their connection with nature, or you've benefited from their wisdom, um, and all those uh, kind of like, let's say they are a bit of a generality about earth angels. So if you have met an earth angel, or if you haven't, maybe now just talking about it, it comes into your awareness and you can see them, experience them, notice them, appreciate them, love them, support them. And you might be curious if you are an earth angel. So many of you who are watching this video are called to help, right? And you feel that purpose and you feel that knowing within you. So you may be asking yourself, oh, am I an earth angel? Again, I would love to hear if you are and you already know that you're an earth angel. And if you want to know if you're an earth angel, feel free to write a comment, ask a question, and I'd be glad to check in on that for you and see if you are. Now, if we get into the complexities of our multidimensional selves, earth angels are not the only thing that we might be. I'm sure many of you have already asked or checked to see what kind of star seed lineages you have. And that opens up like a whole new topic, a whole new world. I would love to talk more about that and see if you know where you're from, where your star or your planet or your history or your lineages, and also if you are connecting like I am to more than one. It's something that it really helps us to realize that this time, um, on the earth in our lives is all about convergence. This is about a convergence of different lineages, different multidimensional selves, and then there is our cosmic whole self, which is, oh, it's peaceful, it's unity. In some ways, it's neutrality in the sense that duality and polarization um, come into their center point, right? So that's where we meet. Our cosmic whole self is in that center point. And I was shown, I don't know, a while ago, maybe a year ago or so, the flower of life. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that sacred geometry. I saw it and I was shown, it was such an uplifting moment for me actually. Many people, let me just back up for a minute. Many people talk about timelines, closing a timeline or jumping timelines, or up leveling timelines or something like that. And so at the beginning of my journey, I have to be honest, I was a little confused about all the timelines and what did it mean for me and how did it look and feel. So when this came through, this wisdom came through for me, it just really settled in all of the doubts I had about, like, am I on the right timeline or do I need to get on a better timeline? And maybe you're facing some of those questions as well. But what I was shown is that the flower of life is actually all of our timelines. So I think it's just human nature to imagine that a timeline is a straight line. I don't know if you've seen it any other way, but when I was shown this, I was like, oh, wait, what if a timeline is not a straight line? Do you know what I mean? Like, who told you how to be straight? So if you look at the flower of life, and you look at the lines, you can see overlapping, you can see flow. Um, but basically, the message that I received is that all of our timelines are going into this center point and they all lead us home. And so this was a huge relief for me about, am I on the right timeline? It just instantly melted that worry or even that straining to be somebody better, to be somebody different than who I was at that point. And it really helped me come into a point of rest. And so just knowing that you are on your timeline and you're in the flower of life, your own design, and all of those timelines lead you to the center of the flower of life, and that's your cosmic whole self. And that's our heart convergence, right? I'm sure you're going to hear me talk more and more about heart, because this is Talk from the Heart. And this is our first episode, and it's an episode to get conversations going, and it's an episode to hear from you, to meet the Talk from the Heart audience. I'm very energized and excited to connect with you and to hear all of your comments and get back to you. So please share your stories, share your life, and let's really make talking from the heart something that we get good at, we get comfortable with, and we share it with others. So when you share your angel story with me, perhaps that is a first step. And your next step is sharing it with someone else, because these stories are real and they're powerful and they're meant to be shared. So, from my heart to yours, I'm AnnaJules, and this is Talk from the Heart.